Hello, mic check.
Okay, good afternoon, our Palarong media friends. Today is the third day of the competition proper of Palarong Pambansa 2024 here in Cebu City. And to update you with the latest developments in Palaro, we have here in front DepEd Assistant Secretary for Field Operations and Secretary General of Palarong Pambansa, Francis Cesar Bringas. And the chairperson of the Cebu City Sports Commission, Mr. Jan Pajes. Good afternoon. Okay, I think ASEC bring us to start the ball rolling. Maybe get some updates or developments about our
Yes, good
Palarong.
afternoon everyone. Maayong hapon sa atong Hello. Wala na agad. Hello. Yes, good afternoon once again. So we are now in our fourth day of the games after the opening, and we have visited many of the playing venues, and we found out that all our playing venues are in excellent condition. I went to archery this morning and billiards as well, and everything is in order. Everything is well organized by Cebu City, and we hear no complaints from the playing venues that we have visited so far. We are still contesting around a little over 70% of the gold medals that are at stake in the Palarong Pambansa. So if you want to see our current standings for the regions and for the schools division offices or local government units, you can just visit the website for the Palarong Pambansa. All the medal tallies are there. So as to safety of our learners, we have recorded a little less than 200 admissions in the hospitals. I think, no, 89 admissions in our hospitals, and 8 of them are still confined and some are under observation. And we have received a good feedback from our delegations regarding the hospitalizations of our athletes as well as trainers, and we have no casualties as of today, thank God. So we are still in constant coordination with the City Health Office when it comes to health status of our athletes and part of our delegation, and very responsive ang ating City Health Office, including the hospitals that are receiving our athletes who need hospitalization.
Thank you, ASEC.
Thank you, ASEC Panchet. Maayong hapon ka natong tanan, especially our media friends from outside of Cebu. Welcome again to Cebu. And as what ASEC Panchet mentioned, although officially we're on our third day of competition, but on July 10, the day after our opening, we actually already began our football, basketball, and volleyball competitions. The past 4 days, I have been able to visit all playing venues except Arnis at the Mandaue Sports Complex. And I'm happy to report, as what ASEC mentioned earlier, having spoken to our tournament directors and many of the coaches and even the athletes, that I believe we have excellent playing venues. Our games are going as on schedule. We had some rain yesterday, but we were able to divert the tennis competition to Naga City. So I think we're on the right track in terms of our games, and we're just so happy to be able to provide very good playing venues for our athletes. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir John. To throw the first question and start the ball rolling, we have a question from Radyo Pilipinas Cebu. Here po.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon po. Jessa from Radyo Pilipinas. We've been reading reports and some reactions, but
the record, we'd like to make it clear from the side of DepEd and also from the Cebu City Sports Commission regarding the reported short of 2 meters in our track oval dito po sa Cebu City Sports Center.
Okay. As per measurement of the contractor using the telescopic device to measure the distance of the entire oval, it appears that it is like 498. 398 instead of the standard 400 meters. But prior to the laying out of the tartan or the rubberized portion and the lining of the track, it was within the standard. But after the tartan was laid and the linings were there, it appears that the functional portion of the oval is only 498. Now the resolution, 398. So the resolution is they are going to take in a third party that will use a telescopic device again to verify the actual or the more accurate verification of the distance of the entire oval, of the entire track. So as it is, all our records, because of the 398 measurement, all our records are not yet official, except for the events that are on the straight, like the 100-meter dash and the 110-meter hurdles, which are all in straight line, because it appears that the short of 2 meters could be attributed to the bends or the curves of the oval. So that's what we're trying to resolve now, and we will let you know of the final results once the third-party measurement would come.
Okay, one more question po from Radyo Pilipinas. Okay, now.
Sir, on a lighter note, yesterday we spoke with the head of our infirmary, and he mentioned that this is the first time that there are features that have been done in our infirmary as opposed to previous Palaro experience. Would you care to discuss about it and the individuals and institutions to credit for that?
As we all know, the safety of our athletes is, of course, the most important. And we're very happy that for the past year, we have been preparing on the medical team side. So we have over 600 medical practitioners helping out in over 30 playing venues and 20 billeting quarters. And Dr. Ruel Dihanyo, who happens to also be an Olympic doctor during the 2016 Rio Olympics. He is heading our medical team. And as you have noticed, we have an infirmary here. So aside from the hospitals that we have partnered with, we have the capability to do certain medical procedures without having to go to the hospital. So I think some of these would include, so they have specialists, not just from Cebu, but also from Manila. And they're able to to treat injuries such as torn muscles or ligaments, and ultrasound machines, even rehab and physical therapies. They're able to do that. So I think we're hoping that there will be no serious cases, but I believe our medical team is on top of the situation.
Okay. From
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Peter Atencio of Manila Standard. This question to Asik Bringas. What are the future plans for the Cebu City Sports Center, the oval future plans, with given the present situation? with
Future plans, you mean what will happen next?
yes, yes.
Okay. As I've mentioned earlier, we are trying to have the third party that will come in to get the measure, to validate the measurement of the contractor at 398. Why is this so important? Because we have the PATAFA that provides the guidelines for the measurements of the oval, standard measurements, international standards. And a consequence of a not accurate measurement of the standard oval would result to non-inclusion of the official times of our runners.
Yes.
So for example, we have a pending record now, meaning you cannot break records if it is substandard in terms of distance. So for example, now we have a 110-meter hurdles for secondary boys that is pending. It is supposed to be a record-breaking time, but it is still pending because of the non-validation of the actual distance of the entire oval. So that is actually the consequence, and we cannot do otherwise, because if we certify that they are on standard, that will be PATAFA also, that will be dragged into the controversy, and that will be a red flag to the World Athletics Association as well. So we have to protect the PATAFA in this particular case.
This question is either to you, sir, or Mr. Pajes. Sir, what are your communications with the PATAFA, with our Secretary General in PATAFA, sir, regarding the oval, sir?
Miss Janet Obiena, I think, is representing PATAFA and PSC, and she's here with us. So we're talking to her directly, and as what ASEC mentioned, I think it's best to wait for the third-party results before we can actually make further comments.
So for holding other events like national events or PATAFA sanctioned events, is still possible to hold it in the venue?
Yes, this was built in 1994, this whole sports center, when we last hosted the Palarong. And what I understood was there was a German engineer who certified the specifications. So we're actually quite surprised. And it's possible that it's just due to the lining. So again, I think it's best to wait for the third-party results of the consultant. Yes.
Because the issue appears to be coming from the bends, di ba may apat na curves tayo? So for future events, para hindi tayo umabot sa mga ganitong issues, I believe that Cebu City already has plans to really fix the bends so that it may still be used in other international competitions in the future.
Okay, next question is from Sunstar. Here from Sunstar. Okay, but his question naman po is, what is the general assessment of the third day since the games kicked off, ASEC?
Well, 3 days since the games kicked off, we are still on schedule despite the rain interruption for yesterday and this morning. We are still on schedule. So every game or all games in all the events will be finished before the closing program on July 16. So that by July 16, we will be able to announce the overall championships for this Palarong Pambansa 2024.
Thank you, ASEC. Our next question will come from Bombo Radio.
ASEC, Nibag Gamalim, ASEC, is Ronald from Bombo Radio, Director from Bigan. Lighter issue lang po. Nagkaroon po tayo ng dalawang team like the Philippine Overseas and the NAS. Will this be included in the next year's palaro sa mga susunod pang palaro yung dalawang team na to, ASEC?
As for the national participation of National Academy of Sports, last Palarong Pambansa in Marikina, the athletes went back to their home regions and they represented their regions carrying the name of the NAS. But this year, they decided to come as a separate delegation. So we will hear from NAS later on if they chose to do the mode that they did last year, or they could choose to do the mode that they did this year, coming as a separate delegation. There is a board for the National Academy of Sport that will decide on this, but whichever mode the NAS will choose, they will be accommodated by Palarong Pambansa. As for the PSO, this is their maiden participation. They only participate in basketball, badminton, and taekwondo. Hopefully, if they can get themselves organized by next year, they have more events to join. But they are still welcome next year.
Okay. Sige.
Isa pa po, lighter din, ASEC. Meron po tayong mga demo sports. I've heard from Sir Eddie Abalos that we including a demo sports for basketball girls elementary by next year. Will this be possible, ASEC?
As far as I know, the only demo sport that we have now is Pencak Silat. All the rest are exhibition sports. So in the Palarong Pambansa, you start as an exhibition sport, then you get elevated to a demo sport, and then you go to a regular sport. So that is also the route that dance sports took before it was regularized this year. But for this year, we have Pencak Silat as demo sport, we have the esports, we have karate do, and soft tennis as exhibition sports for this year. We are waiting for the national sports associations of these events if they are going to apply for demonstration sport and comply with the requirements of the Palaro. As for other sports that wish to become exhibition sports, we also have requirements that they need to comply, and it will be up to the Palarong Pambansa board to approve or disapprove such requests. But we are encouraging other NSAs who want to introduce their sports to be part of the Palarong Pambansa, whether exhibition, demo, or a regular sport.
Thank you, ASEC, for that clarification. And our next question from CCTN 47.
May buntag, mayong hapon, Gia Navarro from CCTN Channel 47. Napag-usap since we're on track na pala sa mga laro at matatapos before the 16th. Pwede share to us, ano na po mga paghahanda natin para sa magiging closing ceremonies ng Palarong Pambansa? May aabangan ba tayo mga VIP at just in case na uulan na malakas, any other contingency plans to do para mairaos din yung pinagandaan nyo palang closing ceremonies po? Any of the panel will answer.
Yeah, thank you for that question. Our closing ceremony will be this Tuesday, that's July 16. And we are very happy to say that the provincial government of Cebu, led by Governor Gwen Garcia, is the one that's really sponsoring the entire cost of the closing ceremony. And she publicly mentioned at the cost of 8 million. So I think if you were here during the opening ceremony, I think we had quite a wonderful opening ceremony. Let's also expect something spectacular, maybe even a first, not just in Cebu, but in the Philippines. We will not divulge what that is, something to do with the stage. And we met with Governor Gwen, I think, the other week. And she personally, in those over 2 hours, personally was involved in the preparation. So she's very excited. So this is, of course, led by the Cebu City government. But we're very happy to have the cooperation of the province of Cebu, and also our playing venues include ASEC, include Mandaue City. And of course, tomorrow we will be starting our 3x3 basketball competition at the Hoops Dome in Lapu-Lapu City. So we're very happy to say that this is a entire Cebu-wide collaboration. So let's expect something spectacular during the closing ceremonies right here outside. Asek?
Thank you. On the part of the Department of Education, the Palarong Pambansa board members from the Department of Education will be in attendance. As you all know, the protocol officer of the Vice President and Secretary, Sarah, already has visited the place. They had their ocular inspection this morning, so we are hoping that our Vice President Secretary will be gracing our closing ceremonies. Also, we have invited over for the closing ceremony the Governor of Ilocos Norte, Governor Matt Manotoc, who will be the next host of 2025 Palarong Pambansa in the province of Ilocos Norte. And also the much-awaited announcement of the host of the 2026 Mindanao edition of the Palarong Pambansa by no less than our board chair.
Okay, I think that's some exciting news, Asek and Sir Jan. I think we can entertain two to three more. Five. Okay.
Follow up lang, since ganun, bukod sa, nandun si Juvaid mentioned, nandun si VP Sara, tapos may artista pang mag-perform to name of you, si Darren. Gano'n na pala kahigpit ang magiging security deployment for that event para masiguro na hindi para maiwasan na rin ang posibleng tulukan o kung ano, para basta magiging secured and matiwasay ang closing ceremonies.
Every time that the Vice President is in attendance to a national event, the VPSG and the protocol office of the Vice President is always in coordination with the Philippine National Police of the locality. So I'm pretty sure that they are already in communication with the PNP of the Cebu City, so that security measures will be in place and that no security risks will be present during that event. But knowing that the opening program was attended by the President, also the security was very tight during that time, and we should be expecting the same, if not a little lighter security this closing program. But just the same, all security measures instituted by the city and the VPSG will be followed during the event.
Hi.
Okay, next question.
Good afternoon, Asek Bringas, Sir John Panges. Dennis Hilanga from Radyo Pilipinas Sports. Sir, Asek, you mentioned earlier that there are 8 to 9 students who were confined or hospitalized. How serious are their conditions right now?
As per report of our health unit, they are now, 89 were originally brought to the hospital. 81 of them already were discharged and in good condition. Only 8 are left. Some are under observation for dengue, but no critical condition.
So we can say that it is majorly because of dengue?
Not mainly because of dengue. We have injuries like sprained ankles. We have one case of a trainer with acute appendicitis that have to be operated on, but not purely dengue.
At how many of those were dengue?
We'll have to make sure, we'll have to check our data, but as per communication with the City Health Office, the dengue cases are not in Cebu City, but they were infected prior to arrival to Quezon, to Cebu City, and that counting the incubation period, nagmanifest lang yung kanilang mga symptoms when they arrive in Cebu City. But even then, the city already did fumigation and misting in all the billeting areas, just a precaution.
Okay, next questions from Malaya Business Insight, sir.
Bong Pedralbes. Just to give our general audience what 2 meters mean. That's 6 feet. 6.60, if I'm not correct. I just checked that's 6 feet. That 6 feet difference can mean in a close race, for example, if it's a photo finish, there will be 30 for the victor and one who came in second. There will always be if the extra 6 feet was there or isn't there. But before that, ma'am, those are the things that are going to be cascading in effect. But before that, on a pleasant note, we'd like to, I think on behalf of all the media here, we'd like to thank the Department of Education and the Cebu City government for being gracious and generous hosts. I think they deserve a big hand. Palakpakan nyo naman, di ba? Kasi ganun yan eh. Aalis kami dito, baka kami overweight. Anyway, yeah, yun ma'am. And in other words, because I am aware of the people who were behind in closely monitoring the track. I know your infrastructure people. Architect Don Sombrio is part of that task force. So, in other words, you're asking for a second opinion. Kung may sakit, second opinion, baka lalabas naman na in the end, kasi a 400-meter track which has been used several times, hindi na magbabago yung configuration nun eh. That is a fact. If it's a 400-meter configuration and been using the track for several times, it could be, in the end, kasi not only records, ma'am, kasi magkakascade yan eh. Athletics is one of my favorite sports. Pero ito lang isang curious question, ma'am. Why are we calling, this is my last question, why not just call them student athletes? But there must be a reason why the grade 6 learners, etc. Because I find it a little bit quaint. Parang pasensya na kay mama. Sir Bringas, I'm a little bit old school, it shows. So, why learner? Why not just student athlete? There must be a rationale for that. When we call them grade 6 learners, grade 7 learners, kasi ang generic term dyan, student athlete.
Okay. If nag-evolve na kasi tayo
Right.
in the past, for elementary enrollees, we call them pupils. For secondary enrollees, we call them students. Now, in general, ang tawag na natin sa kanilang lahat, regardless of their levels, learners. So that even our alternative learning system enrollees are also learners. So it's more inclusive. Wala na siyang distinguishing na pupil, student, and ALS pupil and ALS student. So it's overall learners na talaga siya.
Okay, thank you, Asik Bringas, for that trivia. I think our last question will come from Rappler.
John Session from Rappler. ASEC and Sir John, with regards to the record breakers, some of them might not be able to get their incentives because their records were nullified. Are there special considerations for them, or are we giving an alternative designation for them?
With regards to incentives, it's really the medalists or podium finishers that we give incentives to. So regardless whether they broke a record or not, provided they are podium finishers, they will still receive incentives. Not only from DepEd, but from the local government units. They have incentives waiting for them in their own localities.
Okay, I think we wrap up our thing, or you want to from Bombo Radio?
Mayong hapon, ASEC, mayong hapon, Sir John. Ako i-address ang pangutangan ni Sir John Pahes. Prior sa, si John Salico, sir, sa Bombo Radio, prior sa competition, wala gisukudaan ang oval para may bawaan na to kung kuwang ba siya 2 meters. Para kung may bawaan pa na to sayo pa sa wapang competition, mapangitaan to og lain nga venue para adto ipahigan ang marathon.
I think you'll have to direct that question also to our contractor, no? Because ilan naman yung trabaho, di ba? And kami, since this was built in 1994, not just with the Palaro, but also the Philippine National Games, Batang Pinoy, Prisaa, and so many other events that were held here at the Oval. So we were very, very confident. So I think the third party, again, a consultant, the final results, I think maunalay mo, so mo hatag na tog final verdict good, no? But it was really up to the contractor to follow because the specifications, of course, came from the PSC.
Sir, kanang building a color green, sir. Doon ni comment ba nga tungod ana naputol ko ng oval sa una wala pa nang green nga building kana wala pa na ang parking lot yes ilawom. Taas ko ng oval kani adto.
John, murag na naman tingali ng building diha, John? Naana ng building in 1994. I think I have pictures from 1994, 30 years ago. That building was already there, no? So wala tayo gi-usab in terms of the actual area.
I think, according to our consultant, I think what happened, remember that prior to the Palaro, or in preparation for the Palaro, renovate ito. So merong portion na naglagay na sila ng gutter And it appears like the gutter medyo pumasok siya, kaya na-short yung functional track natin. So because of the gutters that were put in place, because that is already a requirement now. So yun yung tinitignan ngayon kung may significant effect ba talaga yung paglagay ng gutter kaya nag-lessen yung oval track natin, less than 400.
Last question, Asek. Ano po yung reaction regarding po sa report na lumabas ngayon, si Acting Mayor Raymond Garcia, hindi siya natuwa sa ibang media outlet na parang masama ang pag-deliver sa balita regarding po sa mga billeting areas?
Well, I have not come across that news, so I am in no authority to comment on that.
Where? One last? Sorry.
Okay,
Last two, okay.
Before we proceed, was there not an inspection prior by the technical team to actually measure, or maybe because we know that this was used before and the rehabilitations could have, because the contractor for this one said they have nothing to do because they simply laid the rubber, which is a thing that I think you need to validate. But if there is anything, what are the things that we learned from this Palaro that you would like be noted in the next one? We keep on learning the things from, so what are the learnings in this Palaro that, you know?
Right from the start, our technical consultant, when the hosting was awarded to Cebu City, even during the prior to the bidding of the hosting, yung ating mga consultants from PSC and from other accredited organizations already visited the place and already provided technical assistance to the prospective hosts. So definitely, in the case of Cebu City, nakapagbigay na rin ng technical assistance ang ating technical consultants with regards to all these international standard measurements and specifications. And when the hosting was awarded to Cebu City, the meeting with the technical conferences were regularly held. I think there were 4 or 3 technical conferences that were held in Cebu City to make sure that they are all up to standards. And since then, nung nag-undergo pa ang rehabilitation not by the contractor who laid, because it's a different contractor, I believe. So dun pa lang sa preparation or rehab of the entire facility, nakaalalay na yung ating technical consultant. Yun nga yung nangyari. I think nung ginagawa yung raw pa lang is wala pang rubber kasi ibang contractor man yata ang nag-rehab niyan. Okay. Pero nung inalagay na natin yung rubber at nilagay na yung mga other requirements in the oval at nag-line na, doon na out na parang kulang na siya. So yan yung inaayos natin. So we are hoping that in the next Palaro, particularly in Ilocos Norte, this will not happen again. So we are going to look into the communication between the contractors of the rehabilitation, if there is going to be a rehabilitation that's going to happen, and the laying out of the technical specifications for the oval. They should be in constant and in the same vibes, so that the final output will still be within standards.
Okay, thank you, Asek. My second question is about the billeting. Okay, I'm from Sunstar, and we were the ones who were reporting about the billeting. We don't want, the reports is not meant to undermine the efforts of DepEd and Cebu City government. It was meant to inform you that these are problems, because we want to provide the nice experience. And I think the billeting is under DepEd's control. Like in the case of water, even before the event, there's always a water problem. I think all of you experienced that. Way ligo ang uban mo trabaho, kay way tubig. So, na-identify na din yan, asan yung mga billeting areas, na problem sa water. At the same time, yung problem ng comfort rooms. We took a picture yesterday. There were billeting areas na may problem sa comfort rooms, but there are portalets outside that are not being used. So can we get an explanation why naging problema yon?
Well, I cannot give you a definitive answer to that, but the billeting schools are identified by the Department of Education, and the preparation for the billeting schools is part of the commitment of the local government unit for the provision of additional toilets, additional shower areas, and the availability of utilities, for example. But definitely, the Department of Education is in constant communication with the local government unit counterparts in the preparation of these particular schools. With regards to the shortage of water, I am not aware if there is really shortage of water, but when in my visits to the billeting schools, I could see the water delivery tanks that are on standby in those areas, particularly in Region 12, Region 10, and Region 6, Region 8. For the other utilities, perhaps we can coordinate later on with the City Health Office again, or the whichever unit of the local government. But in the last meeting that we had with the regional directors, they did not air any major issues that they have in their billeting schools so far.
Okay, with that, we thank ASEC Bringas and Sir John Pajes for answering the questions of our media friends here in Palaro. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Asek. Thank you, Sir.